Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. This series is all about vertical gardening. I am affiliated with greenstalkgarden.com. These are their towers. I highly recommend them. The red color is no longer offered. It was a Rusted Garden exclusive. We may offer it again in September. But I love these tier towers. I've been growing in them for 5 years. They're outstanding. They are more expensive than some of the towers you'll find at the dollar store that I've been hearing about. But this tower, for instance, has sat outside for at least 5 years now. No UV cracking, no fading. It's just a wonderful product. So you can see that I have some of the towers set up. This one is all filled, actually all the towers here are filled with container mix that I refreshed for my garden. I will link the video to that. But today I want to start the video with filling the towers. What do I add to it, and give you some ideas of how you can set up the best tower. So these were filled with the container mix that I refreshed. We're going to refill 2 more of them with a mix that I make, and also a bag mix, because I know that everybody doesn't want to make their own mix. So you may want to buy the bag products. There are different bag products that will be really successful. We're going to fill this one also. And I'm going to go over the basics of how you would fertilize them real quick. Whatever we add in, we fill it halfway. Handful of organic granular, any granular around a 5.55 NP and K. Mix it through, fill it up. Another handful, mix it through. You can add in an extra handful if you want. I also put in worm castings from Vermistera. You don't have to do that, but I have found that they're just a wonderful product, the castings, to add to your vertical towers. Because this is sort of an artificial growing space, bringing in worm castings I think really makes a difference. I'll show you how to do that too if you want to do that. And I am affiliated with Vermistera. All that information for the towers and the worm castings will be in the video description. So we're going to get these set up for success. The question I also get is, will these hold up to winds? Well, we were getting 30-40 mile-an-hour winds. Nothing has fallen over. I think I lost one over the years to the wind, and that's because it dried out. So if you know you're getting heavy winds, that's a great time to just water this in. The water weight will keep it nice and steady, basically, because it's so heavy. Sitting up there are thyme, oregano, chives, lavender that have overwintered year after year. I'm on my 3rd year here at this property, so this is the 3rd year that they're doing well. So you can plant these up with perennial herbs or flowers, and they're going to come back year after year. Strawberry, if you want to make a strawberry tower, same thing. All right, let's get to setting up these containers and planting up a pepper and herb garden. The first key to container gardening is moisture management. Your container mixes have to be able to hold moisture. They can't get too soggy, and that's what we're going to do right now. So let's just start with this. This is what my typical earth looks like. This is peat moss. It's dry. You should pre-moisten this or moisten it afterwards. But if you want to make your own, it's 50% of your soil, 50% peat moss, and you just mix it together. The peat moss doesn't add any nutritional value, but it really retains water. And you would mix it through, pre-moisten it, and you just have a nice container mix that is going to hold water, going to be nice and loose, and it's perfect for this situation. Let me move that over here. Now, a lot of people don't want to make their own product, so this is a potting mix, just a basic potting mix. You want to fill it up halfway, pack it down a little bit. This is a raised bed mix. Very similar, both going to hold moisture, both going to be porous. You can use either one. So fill them halfway, and let's go with just the basic that I use, and I am looking for the measuring cup. Okay, so this is 1 cup. I usually just go by the handful, and I would put in 1 or 2 handfuls into the container right now. Let's just see how much that is. All right, so that's about a 1/2 cup. This is an organic granular. What I'm using, so 2 handfuls is just about a cup. This is an organic granular, a 4-3-4 NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium fertilizer. Any granular will work fine. 1 or 2 handfuls or about a cup mixed in there. This is the minimum. Your potting mixes, your raised bed mixes, if you're buying them in a bag, are going to have fertilizer in there, but just consider that a bonus. Mix the granular fertilizer through, and that's set up. Now, if you want to add in the worm castings, again, Vermistar is a wonderful product. When you buy worm castings, you want to make sure you're getting castings and you're not getting castings and a bunch of leftover compost. So whatever brand you buy, you know, make sure you're getting the castings and not just a bunch of composting material. 1 cup. This will add in growth hormones that are naturally found in worm castings, soil microbiology, you know, and that's set up nicely. Now, if you're using a lot of peat moss, if you're making your own, so it's 50% peat, 50% of your earth soil. Also, another tip is you can buy the bags from the big box stores that say garden soil. You don't want to just use garden soil in here, that's too heavy. But you can mix the garden soil, 50% garden soil, 50% peat moss, and you end up with something like this anyway. That's just a way to save money. But if you're adding in a lot of peat moss and you're concerned that it might be too acidic, you can add in about this much lime. This is just plain old garden lime, and just sprinkle in the garden lime. You know, you could go with a handful. You don't really need a cup. Mix the lime through. That will reduce the acidity from the pH. I know that my soil is higher in pH, so when I mix it with peat moss, it kind of balances itself out. So we have that set up. We would do the same thing over here. You know, 1 cup, mix it all the way through. So now that we have this set up, press it down. You want a nice dense planting surface. You really want something for the roots to grow into. So let's add in the rest. Now these containers hold 8 gallons. These are the 7-inch high sides. They have smaller tier systems set up at Greenstock Gardens. And there's a fill line to about really up to here. So you really want to fill this up nicely. We would put in another cup, just about, of the granular. Again, I like the worm castings. And this is set up pretty nicely. Now, if you're lucky enough to have your own compost, which I do, but most people don't have that, you could grow straight in compost. This is a great material to grow in. You could add in some of your compost to the top. You can really amend this however you want once you have it. The whole key is just making sure, to make sure you have a really good container soil that's going to hold water, it's going to stay loose. So we just fill this up almost to the top, press it in for that solid base. I will show you how to set the tower up, and then we'll get to planting. I'm going to finish these up so I have a 5-tier tower ready to go. This is an empty tier, just so I can show you the bottom. So you're taking the bottom piece right here and inserting it over the piece down here, and they'll lock together just like that. Before you do that, you want to insert this piece. That's why you leave some of the soil just below the lip here. And your top tier is going to sit right on here, and you just set it up just like that. Now, before you put in something that has soil in it, make sure you don't water it. We're going to water this after it's on. If you add water, it gets pretty heavy. So you just get it into place, take a minute or two, and it just clicked right in. So these have clicked in. This is nice and solid. Now we'll water this in. Let me finish up the tiers, and then we'll get to planting. So here's 5 tiers all set up. After I'm done planting, you can clean it up. You just spray water on there and rub it off with your hand, and that'll come right off. And right there you can see the tray. So these trays sit here, 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 and here. And then the last piece you put on is the water reserve, or how you water. And you would just fill this up, trickles down the middle, gets to each level. When you are setting these up in April, early May, you don't have to water as much. But as you progress into later June and the hot days of summer, you may have to water this once or twice a day depending on what you're growing in there. So you can see that I have peppers set up there. They're actually sweet peppers, and I just did every other pocket. I'll be planting something else in between there. So that's what we're going to set up with the other tower on the right side, and we're going to use some hot peppers. I've done a video a couple years ago and filled this entire tower up with hot peppers, and it worked really, really well. You can do that, whatever design you want. Right now, because we're going to have 45-degree nights or warmer, 70-degree days, I'm putting my peppers out. But don't put your peppers out or your frost intolerant plants out yet until the frost date is passed. But we'll also talk about some herbs and how you can set that up. All right, so again, if frost is not cleared from your area, don't put the peppers in now, but I think we're going to be okay, and I have some ways to protect these. So I'm going to put in peppers this year every other, so it's going to be 3 per tier, 18 plants per tower. And then I will put in some herbs, show you how to do that, and some lettuce. So you can put in lettuce, spinach, your herbs right now into your towers if you want. And it's pretty straightforward. I like using these shims. I write on there what the plants are. You just dig down about 2 or 3 inches. Loosen the root ball of the pepper. Drop it in so it looks something like that. You can see, let me take it out, that some roots are wanting to grow up here. So you can take the soil up to about here. In fact, I'm gonna, because there's so many roots forming, root nodes, I'm gonna drop it a little bit further down, like that, and then just pull the soil onto it, press it in, and water it in. When it comes to staking, I use bamboo pole or something. I will just drop the stake straight like this so that it's going up the tower, and I will put the pepper plant onto that. Pretty straightforward. So let me finish the peppers along this bottom, and then I'll show you how to drop in some lettuce and some herbs. You don't have to start everything from transplants. These are pea seeds. So in the other 3 pockets on the bottom, you can see 2 pea seeds over there. I'm going to put, obviously, 2 pea seeds per pocket. Just drop them in, push them down about 1 inch, cover them over. Now I'm going to water all the newly transplanted plants and seeds in with the fish emulsion. I'm not going to do that on video, but I just pour in the fish emulsion, give it a quick soak. This tower is now set up for a good 2 months before you have to feed again. If you want to subscribe, I'll show you how I take care of all the plants. I'll show you how I feed them, show you how I change plants over, basically show you the harvest. Now, also spinach. So spinach seeds are small, they don't go down quite as far. But we're going to take 2 seeds and just push them down about 1/2 inch, cover them over, and spinach will come up in there. So I'll have 3 sets of pea plants on the bottom, 3 sets of spinach plants there, and then I'll work my way up with some of the lettuces and the herbs. Okay, we'll get to that. Oregano, parsley, thyme, that's going to go across the top, 2 of each of those plants. The oregano and the thyme will come back year after year. I'm in Maryland Zone 7, so these can freeze through. These perennial herbs will come back. Just for an idea of placement, these are flat, but you can buy casters where they can spin if you're in a space where you need to kind of rotate your towers around. But the sun comes up from where behind me, and my sun tracks this way. So these are really located in a place where the sun is going to hit all of the plants. Same process that I did with the peppers. I'm not going to do all these. I'll show you the finished product and we'll end the video. But about 1 inch deep, enough to cover the root ball. Herbs are really, really hardy. Drop it in, squeeze some soil around there, press it in. And then again, these are all going to get watered with the fish emulsion, especially my bib lettuce. It got a little bit beat up. I let it dry out when it was sitting in the cells. Going to drop in the lettuce, same process, real quick. Loosen up the root ball enough to send the roots going in a different direction. Drop it in, and your bib lettuce is planted. Let me finish this up and we'll conclude. Okay, everything's planted up for this round. Herbs across the top, bib lettuce, got my hot peppers in, label the hot peppers so you remember. Peas on the bottom, spinach on the second tier, and then you get the idea. Now, it's only April 7th here, so frost is still in the air. I'm going to be planting these up with basil, determinate tomatoes. If you want to subscribe, I'll just show you how to have a whole garden in all of these different towers. And to conclude, this is thyme that's 2 or 3 years old, some parsley that overwintered, oregano. This is lavender you can grow in here. These are actually leeks, which I thought were chives. They're gonna have to come out, but your chives would look just like that. You can grow sage out of there. That's 3 years old. And this is a tower that I set up, I don't know, about a week ago. But you can eat pansy flowers too. So you get an idea of some of the cool weather crops that are going in, pushing out the peppers, got the herbs going. But this is a wonderful way to grow 30 plants in a 3-foot by 3-foot space by growing vertically. And I will have 6 towers in here. So that's going to be 180 plants growing in this small space. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Doing a whole series on these towers. And please check out my seed shop at therustedgarden.com. Thanks for watching.